Hello, everyone. This is another Black Conservative. I am Ryan Bowling. Thank you all for joining me. I wanted to read to you guys an article that I thought was somewhat disturbing, but not at all surprising to me. And it's in reference to the unemployment rate in America has risen by 3.9%, even though there has been over 100 and I think 150,000 jobs added to the market. So you have all these new jobs added to the market, and yet unemployment has went up. Now, after I read you this article, which is pretty short, you get the details from this article. I'm going to give you my opinion of why I personally think, based on my observations and my reading, of why unemployment has gone up, even though there's more jobs out here. Okay, so let's get right into this. This is crazy. This is crazy, man, but we're living in the upside down right now. We are living in the upside down. The article starts off, employers in the United States added 150,000 workers to their payrolls in October, the Department of Labor said Friday. The unemployment rate increased to 3.9%. And an increase in unemployment, but yet more, but these jobs were added to the workforce. Economists had expected the economy to add 179,000 after payrolls were reported as increasing by 336,000 in September, more than twice the expected 160,000. The September figure was revised down to 297,000, and the August jobs figure was revised down by 62,000 from 227,000 to 165,000. All these numbers. Up, down, up, down. The unemployment rate was expected to hold steady at last month's 3.8%. The weaker than expected rise in employment may make it easier for the Federal Reserve. Oh, there you go. But I'm not going to get into the Federal Reserve here on this channel or this particular video because this might get taken down. But I have some, I don't trust them. To hold off on hiking interest rates further when it meets in December. The Fed decided at its meeting last week and in September to hold rates steady to see how earlier rate increases are affecting the economy. You don't say. Prior to today, the market was pricing in around a 20% chance of a hike at the next meeting. The Federal Reserve has been trying to cool off demand for labor. That seems odd. The Federal Reserve has been trying to cool off demand for labor, fearing that higher wages could put upward pressure on inflation. Baloney. They create inflation. Inflation, deflation, but whatever. In recent months, however, those efforts have been stymied by rising. Well, let me say this. Let me read this again. I want to read this slowly. In recent months, however, those efforts have been stymied by rapid hiring, and get this now, and rising job vacancies. End of article. Hone in on that last phrase. This is what I want to hone in on. It says, however, those efforts have been stymied or hampered or hindered by rapid hiring. So employers are hiring, but at the same time, there's rising job vacancies. So either people are getting hired and leaving these jobs after a few weeks or a few days or whatever and leaving a job vacant or something. Well, that's the end of the article right there. Let's get right into what I personally believe is going on here and how I think this all started. Now, one has to ask himself a fundamental question. And I've asked myself that question even before I had read this article. I had been hearing things about, there's a lot of jobs out there and so forth, and yet people are not going to work. You could leave a job. You could have a job one day, leave that job, and have another job the same day. In fact, I was talking yesterday on my job. I had a discussion yesterday with a employee of a company that I used to work for that actually works right across the street from Tower City where I work for. And I had this intensive discussion with her on the same subject of the reality of the fact that there are thousands of jobs out here, and yet people refuse to work. Now, the question is inevitably is why? Why is it that people are not working? Is it because the jobs are not paying them much? That could be one incident, but here's the thing. A lot of these jobs, and the article kind of hit off on that. about the feds fearing, pay increases would raise whatever. There are a lot of jobs that are increasing their pay in order to get people to come in. So I don't think that's the issue. I think part of the issue is that a significant number of Americans have been, how can I put it, encouraged to be lazy. Ever since the in 2020 happened, okay, and the lockdown happened because of the okay, even though that wasn't what it was about, okay. The purpose was to crash the economy, but that's another story, and I digress. And get Trump out, but it's another story, and I digress. The government during this time encouraged people not to work. When they began handing out these so-called stimulus checks and all this kind of stuff, yes, I took them. I took the stimulus checks, but guess what? I was still working. I wasn't going to refuse the stimulus checks. You want to know why? Because that's my money. Whenever, you know what I'm saying? You're giving me my money back, homie. Talking about why should not take it? You giving me my money back. The people that shouldn't have it are people that are able to work and don't want to work. They shouldn't get it. But I'm going too fast. I'm going ahead of myself. When they started handing out all of these stimulus checks and so forth, and they continued that on for some extended amount of time. Now that was under the Trump administration. That was under his administration. Okay. When they started doing that, I disagreed with that then. I disagree with it now. But when Biden came in, I believe it continued on for a while. It continued on for a while. But the only reason why Trump did it, or rather it was encouraged by him, was because of the fact that a lot of people, when these states started locking down everything, because it was a state situation, it wasn't federal. The lockdown wasn't federal, it was state mandated, it was based on the state. A lot of people weren't able to work. So to make sure that they had money, Trump initiated that. Okay. What are you going to do? But what this did in turn was when Biden became president and continued it on, it caused people to become lazy. And then you had situations where, I believe this happened under the Biden administration, where you could work, the idea goes this way, you have to work for like a year or so like that before you get unemployment or whatever. But they had cut it down to like 6 months, and even shorter than that, I believe. Correct me in the comment box if I'm wrong. Where you could just work 6 months or less than 6 months, and you could leave and get unemployment. So a lot of people that were working decided to do just that very thing. Let me work for 6 months, quit or whatever, and get unemployment. So you had a lot of job positions open that were open then and now based on this concept. Now, I don't know if they're still doing it now, but you got to ask yourself a question. Why is there so many jobs being put out there, but yet the unemployment rate goes up? Because the government is encouraging entitlement, this entitlement mentality. But not only is the government encouraging this entitlement mentality to the American people, particularly younger American people, because older American people don't have this mentality. When I say older, I mean people from in their 30s upward. Or I'd say even go as far as saying 40s and upward, because even some of these 30-year-olds act like kids. Not just the federal government is encouraging this entitlement mentality, but you have the schools that are the professors and so forth, and on these college campuses and these universities are all, because they're Marxists, are also encouraging this entitlement mentality, because that's what Marxists push anyway. Marxists push this idea that capitalism is draining people's money from them, that the capitalists are taking people's money from them, and that's why they're struggling. So look, hey, you guys are entitled to whatever money the government dish out to you. It's your money. You don't have to work for it, because these doggone capitalists keep stealing your money from you, and they are the problems. They are the cause of your problems. You don't have to take any responsibility for your own actions. You don't have to do anything. The government will take care of you, which in turn causes people to be dependent upon the government, which is the ultimate objective anyway. But anyway, Yeah. So you have college professors encouraging this mentality among young students that leave out of college and they don't feel they need to work or anything. And so they say, hey, why should I have to work? But not only those in college, but just everywhere. This entitlement mentality is everywhere. I see it everywhere on my job. I see people out here that are perfectly capable of getting a job. Young men, young women, perfectly capable of getting a job. They can think, they have the use and activity of their limbs, but they refuse to work. And a significant number of them have been shown in my city here to be nothing more than drug dealers. Why work a 9 to 5 when you can just sell drugs and get away with it? We've had this issue in front of Tower City where I work at as bike patrol, and I share this often. We've been having some extremely hard times dealing with these drug dealers that now decide to make the front of Tower City, where I live here, to make it their drug haven, where all their drug addicts and drug dealers meet up and say, hey, let me pass on my, you can make your trade right here. And as security, we don't have any authority over them. We had to call our dispatcher to call the police, whom they have league with, to come out and help us. But sometimes there's no police there. So we left with our hands tied. They don't respect us because they know they can get away with it. And this mentality of entitlement is everywhere. It's everywhere. Whenever I find anyone on my job, especially if they're young, to have a strong work ethic, it just blows me away. It's this young lady on my job. My boss, one of my supervisors calls her the overtime queen. This girl is 19 years old, and she has had a bad temper. She's gotten into spats with one of the supervisors, and it's been a big thing. But I had a talk with her. She came to me and was talking to me, and I had a talk with her, gave her some good advice. The other supervisor gave her some good advice, and the next thing you know, she just took 150% change of mind, and now she's working 12-hour shifts, 3 and 4 and 5 hour times out of the week. And this young lady and she's only 19 years old. That's awesome to me. That's awesome to me when I see a young person like that working those kind of hours. It's awesome because I don't see it often. And in my opinion, I don't see it often because our government, the government, the school systems, and everything around you around us is encouraging young people to feel like they're entitled to whatever it is that's out there, that they don't have to work for it. But that's a wrong mentality. And I'm going to give you guys a scripture. The Bible itself even says if a person doesn't work, they don't eat. What that simply means is this. It's not saying starve people to death, they don't work. What that simply means is that in order for you to have money, in order for you to buy food, you have to have money. And how are you going to get money? You got to work. If you don't work, you're not going to have the money. If you don't have the money, you're not going to eat. That principle is overall. Look, if you don't work to get what you need to get, you're not going to get it unless somebody else give it to you, unless you feel entitled to it and the government give it to you. And that's part of what is happening now. And I believe that's part of the reason why the unemployment rate is on the rise. Because you got to think about it. If these people are getting these jobs and then leaving in no time, what are they doing? They certainly can't be homeless. Who wants to have a good job paying $15, $16, $17 an hour, leave the job, and then become homeless? You have way less debt as a homeless person than you do anything. So they certainly can't be homeless. They're getting money from somewhere. They're getting it from somewhere. It's either the government or selling drugs because they feel entitled. But that mentality will get you nowhere. That mentality will get you nowhere. So to end the video on this note, I feel that there is no excuse for people who have the use and activity of their limbs. They have their brain. They're able to think and make decisions. In my opinion, any person that has the use and activity of their limbs and has their cognitive abilities should not be given anything. When you have hundreds of thousands of jobs out here paying you $15 and $16 an hour oftentimes for jobs that are low-skilled jobs that don't require that kind of money. And I don't want to get into the cost of living nonsense and all that. That's not that company's fault for the cost of living. That's not their fault. That's government stuff. But I'm not going to get into that. Anybody that has the ability to work should work. Bottom line, in my opinion. But this is the time we're living in. We're living in the upside down where people feel entitled because we have government officials and professors, Marxist professors, pushing this entitlement mentality. I pray and hope that the American people will wake up and get a job and contribute to society with their taxes rather than take from society. Well, what do you guys think about this? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. God bless you all and see you again.